All right, starting War 1 off with defense. For bans, we've got Apocalypse, Kingpin, and Kitty Pryde. And if you don't know, we've got Ghost and Spider-Man 2099 as blacklisted. All right, so first thing first, Boss Island. We've got Chavez Boss. You can probably get away with Scorpion, maybe Miles, and then maybe anyone like Immortal Abomination. Mangog back there on AoE, Mr. Negative, Magic, and Quicksilver. Domino there, pretty easy if you've got Corvus set up, if you got Nimrod, if you've got Omega Sentinel, and then White Magneto pre-fights. Bishop there can probably get away with Hulkling or Hercules since he's whitelisted. Also Rulk since he's Incinerate immune. Mysterio over here, you can get away with Human Torch, can get away with Sunspot, can probably even Herc it as well. Or you can use Null. Hulkling there, Tigra, probably Doom or Herc. Hyperion there, Anti-Venom might work, Rulk might work. And then King Groot there, we've got Hood. You can use Rintraw. And then probably, no, you can't use Claire. Don't use Claire. Yeah, those are the only, and maybe Tigra. I'm hearing rumors, but Tigra probably works. And then section 2, path 1, nothing special. On the way out, you've got Omega Sentinel, so you can easily take that down with Nimrod. You can also use Null. Path 2, nothing stands out. And then path 3, Jabari actually doesn't even have an armor up, so you don't have to worry about that there. So pretty straightforward 1 through 3. All right, 4 through 6 going in, you've got Null. You can probably use Shang-Chi. You can use Elsa. You could even use Rindraw. Path 4 there, Surfer could get complicated. Could probably use Rindraw. Can probably use any of the Shrug champions like Shang-Chi or Elsa. But yeah, that one could get a bit tricky. Path 5, nothing too crazy with Black Cat, Mojo. You know, you can use Mr. Negative. Human Torch is on the board, so Nova Flame. And then path 6, again, nothing super crazy standing out. Cersei on the way out, Rindraw, Tigra if she's available, or Hood. I'm pretty sure Hood could do pretty well there. 7 through 9 on the way in, Doom. It's probably Magneto. You could also use Thing. That node did, well, so did the Null node, but that node did change, so now you can stun it. You just have to look out for the Shock Bleed Hazard Shift, and as long as you can counter that, it's pretty straightforward. 7, nothing super standout. Same thing with 8, 9. You can probably get away with Havoc or Thing, but you would want someone else for, well, yeah, you could probably use Thing as well. And then Overseer on the way out, again, nothing special there. Just bring a counter for Overseer, and then sprinkle in some Odin buffs pre-fights, and you should be fine. Jumping back to the node to section 2, paths 1 through 3, Man Thing up there. Got a bit easier, so you can pretty much use anyone who's either immune to gaining buffs, like Ant-Man, or, well, yeah, let's just go with Ant-Man, or immune to nullify. So Mr. Negative, Overseer, Omega Sentinel, all good options for Man Thing up there. Apocalypse is on a rooted node, but it's power focus 2, so you can aggressively push him past special 2 and continue wailing on him to avoid getting rooted. I would probably just go Nimrod or Omega Sentinel just to kind of end it quickly. Can even use, any other Apocalypse counter. Mordo there. To be honest, I think Cosmic Ghost Rider works. Just have a White Magneto pre-fight. It's got Incinerate Shock on it now, so it's gotten a little bit complicated. You can probably get away with Anti-Venom as well. It's just kind of risky. Section 1, paths 1 through 3 on the way out. Nimrod, I would just go with Nebula as the hardest hard counter. You could also use Herc or Hulkling there and just kind of, wail on him. Path 1, probably Warlock the whole way. Path 2, pretty straightforward. Can probably use Null or Magneto for Green Goblin and just like back off after the special 3 and let him detonate, or just not use special 3. If you have Pacify maxed, you can actually shut off at least the debuff from the knockdown, but you could also Quake it. And then path 3, again, nothing crazy. If you do end up hulking or using Herc there, take in the armor break synergy for him. Okay, and then 5 through 6 on the way out, White Magneto, Nimrod, Omega Sentinel, both can't have their stuff shut down by mutants. Their abilities shut down by mutants. Path 4, nothing special. Path 5, nothing special. And then path 6, nothing special. 7 through 9, Fury on the way out. You can actually use Cosmic Ghost Rider. You could use Penny Parker. And then path 7, a bit easier since Human Torch is available. And then bring probably Cosmic Ghost Rider for Gallon. And then path 8, nothing special. And path 9, nothing new. So that'll do it for defense. Let's take a look at attack. All right, so we are here with War 1 against DSVG. This season, we are seriously trying to push number 1 due to the buffed war rewards. This war, I am taking in Human Torch since he's whitelisted Shang-Chi and Mr. Negative. I've got Path 9 in Section 1 and Path 5 in Section 2, and a mini boss on Boss Island. So Path 9 here, last season wasn't very serious. However, I did boost and try to avoid dying. So I did take a void here once, and I don't think it was a rank 4, at least when the war was counting or when we were actually trying. But here it's pretty straightforward, pretty safe for Shang-Chi. The only issue would be the same issue with anyone else. If you miss a parry and you end up taking a bunch of hits while he's got the Fury, you're going to end up paying for it. You're probably only going to be able to do that once. But the game plan here is to do the Cleanse Wushu and parry heavy to reset, and just constantly doing that until we get to Special 2. And then you would want to drop a Cleanse Wushu right before throwing Special 2, so that if you get any of the debuffs from the node or one of his Intimidation debuffs, you'll shrug it and it won't just stick. So going well here so far. I didn't have a bunch of chi for that Special 2, so it didn't KO him. It's okay. It is a rank 4, so his health pool's a lot bigger. He's being passive there, so I decided to hit into his block while I had some cleanse up, and he goes down pretty easy. Can't even get to the second Special 2. Now you could make an argument to science boost there, but you have to make sure that you're not using Shang-Chi for this next node, or not science, skill boost, because of the invulnerability. So we're actually using Human Torch here, so that would not have been a problem. We are going to use Nova Flame here. The game plan is usual Human Torch game plan, where you're doing parry, you're doing medium, light, medium, and you're just melting him away. I'm going to be aggressively attacking into him, not into his block, while he's out of Wrath and while he's in the Incinerate phase. But once he switches over to Poison, we're going to go ahead and start hitting into his block and parrying depending on where we are at the map, on the map. So there we are hitting into block. My hope here with this Sasquatch, especially since he's only a rank 3, is that we get him knocked out before he goes into Wrath. Just because between that and the Poison phase, if they're active at the same time, it could get a bit complicated. And there he is. He's in Wrath, but he barely has any health left. He's in Poison. You can see here, I can't really find a window to hit into his block because he's a lot more aggressive here. So I really just have to take a bunch of blocked hits. And that could get problematic with MD and the fact that his special attacks don't use as much power, but ends up being super easy. We move on, we get to section 2, path 5. I actually, against DSVG last season, took this exact same combo on path 5. So we're gonna use Shang-Chi for this black cat. No real benefit here outside of the fact that I've got a rank 4 versus a rank 4, so I'm gonna do a lot of damage, especially if I get the special 2 dropped while Ebb and Flow Intercept is down and I've got the Fury. But the main I'll say benefit of actually using Shang-Chi for her is that once I get that sabotage debuff from the heist being active, I can shrug it. Which means I can reliably parry for the rest of the fight. And on top of that, Shang-Chi doesn't have a lot of debuffs he places, like a bleed or anything like that, so I'm not gonna take any added attack damage from her, from Sadist, or Sadist, however you pronounce it. So here she's being pretty passive, not really wanting to throw special 1. Finally decides to throw special 2 now that I inched her there. So now we're gonna go back into being aggressive. I'm just simply doing the stun wushu and then dropping a heavy to reset it. Here I decide to drop the cleanse. I see an opportunity to intercept, we get it. We throw the special 2 and she's pretty much done. Now we just have to play smart and get her KO'd. Again, she's being very stubborn with her special attacks. Finally throws it, but we're against the wall. We're gonna fight for some spacing, so I do the stun wushu. She actually throws special 1 here, yay. And we get to special 2 and we just throw it right away. Even with the protection up, it was enough to knock her out. So pretty easy. Mojo here on the next node, taking it with Mr. Negative. Game plan here, invulnerability boost is running. I'm going to build light energy until we get to about 7 to 9. We're going to evade counter a medium, his dash, so that we can drop the protection and gain a fury and bank that light energy. And then we're just going to casually fight from there as we get to special 3. And then whatever light energy we have, hopefully we can build some extra if we have the space. We try to get back into that 7 to 9 window, evade counter another dash so that we drop the protection and gain the fury, and then drop the special 3 while we have the fury. So it's going really well here so far. We haven't gotten cornered, we haven't taken any clipped hits, so invulnerability is still there. And he's reliably throwing special 1, so we're not having to bait out too much. There I saw an opportunity to evade counter his dash and then just combo to my special 3, and at 50% or less with the amount of dark energy I had, it's going to tick him away. 1, 2, 3, 4, down he goes. So very clean, felt very good. Mr. Negative fight. It is only a rank 3 Mojo, but it is what it is. And then Mangog here was my last fight. We've got Mr. Fantastic debuffs. For those of you that did not watch me take this Mangog down last season, I've got Petrify in the Mastery Tree maxed. It's a big ask. If you can fit in Mr. Negative, Mr. Fantastic pre-fights, definitely get all 3 placed. It's going to help with your damage and the power gain. The game plan here that I came up with was to parry twice without throwing a heavy and then parry a 3rd time with throwing a heavy. That should put you at about 8 light energy. And then 7. And then depending on power, get another parry in and evade counter. That put me at 9. So now combo here hopefully throws special 1, but Mangog has been pretty stubborn in this window of the fight. So I decide to parry heavy so that I can refresh those Mr. Fantastic debuffs. He throws the special 1 right away. I was going to try and block parry here to get some more light before evade countering into special 2. It refreshes the debuffs. We have 3 petrifies and he is melting away from the degens. We actually only got 1 extra degen from the Shang-Chi synergy, but it did not matter. Down he went. That ended my war. Felt pretty clean. Our battle group actually ended up dying 2 times. I don't remember how many times they did in RBG. It might have been 2. But we ended up losing this war 7-6, which is super disappointing considering we are trying to shoot for number 1. Kind of takes the wind out of your sails a little bit, especially knowing that your 2 toughest matchups, should you face them, are going to be Jedi Assassins and GT40. And we've yet to beat them in the past few seasons, with them being as dominant as they have been. So definitely a disappointing loss. Not going to affect my gameplay, but definitely feeling the hill we have to climb, mountain we have to climb if we're actually trying to get first. And it has to come with us, with this being our only loss. So hope you guys enjoyed the war video. Hit subscribe, hit like, and I will catch you guys at the next war.